Hello and welcome. It is I, Velv. So we're gonna do. It's a little short. It's just going over on this PC rebuild a little bit, and I did make a video. I just didn't like it. I didn't upload it. I did a short one on at Velv Night to kind of see how it was, and it was okay. Not the best, but we're gonna go a little bit more into depth, but not too much. Not too much. So let me get this sorted out and move this over. So you probably heard the USB plug in and out, right? And that's probably because I was just moving the wire. I'm not sure if it's like the hub that's very sensitive, because I did tripped over the cord at least once or twice, and it might have got slightly a little damaged or so. Maybe. I know the first old one did. And then recently I didn't trip over anything, but I kind of tugged on it, but not too hard, likely. So, we're gonna go over it, pretty much all the components and stuff I got and how much it cost, roughly. So let me go ahead and turn this on. All right, I think you can see here inside. So this is pretty much the inside of the PC. Minus me standing still, because see how it would be kind of tricky and hard to have a camera like iPhone being right in my face to show it, but this is more than good enough. I think you can see in here we only have 2 RGB fans in here, so yes, are the 2 top ones with the radiator. It is a radiator right here. So as you can see, we are using water cooling. This is the radiator. It's 240. I showed up. I was gonna go for the 280, but I went with the 240. I think the 280 is a little more larger, but 240. This is the Curacell 100i, I believe. And don't quote me on anything. So, but I will link the build for this, all the parts. As you can see back there, the case fans are pretty much their static force ones. But what's kind of weird is these case fans are supposed to be the same ones you can get for $14.99, right? Well, these versions of the case fans are 3 pins for some reason, and no one's ever mentioned it or brought it up about them. But the ones you buy for $14.99 on Amazon, or probably anywhere that has it for $14.99, or even on their site, is 4-pin. 4-pin is the pulse wave control thing, or pulse wave something. I'm not sure the whole term thing, because I'm still new and adjusting to it, since I just moving from a laptop to a desktop again, and I haven't had a desktop in years. So this is the first one. And this one's actually my first personal build. So yeah, we got 2 case fans. The other one's right here in the front. Probably can't see because this is in. I'm gonna unplug it, but move the cord, and so I'm gonna pop this off. And yes, this does come off, guys. You probably seen a lot of people who just takes the whole main frame here out. But yeah, the fan's right here. We have 1. We're gonna put 2 more fans here soon. Not now. Is to increase the airflow more with we're gonna get the same fans. They're similar to the chassis, even though the ones on here are 3-pin. The one we're getting are 2 more of the same fan models, but they're 4-pin versions. So the other 2 will go here. That will help send more air in the chassis to cool off the other components like the graphics card, and down here the hard drive bay, and also the power supply in the far back of the hard drive bay, pushing the heat that way. There's nothing on the other side. It's just the whole. It's not see-through. You don't want to see a wiring mess. I try to organize it at best, but I'm not going to unscrew that side since the left side was much easier, and I don't want to move it too much. I say if I aim it a little down, I have my wireless Logitech mouse right here hooked. I have two mouses hooked. One is for wireless if I'm ever by the bed, so I can still use it. We got our keyboard here. I think I talked about our monitor before. So yes, we're gonna be getting a Asus monitor, not now, but maybe this month or next month. Waiting for my next paycheck for that. We're just gonna get one. It's gonna go with this for the time being, and then get another Asus monitor again. So we have two of them, and then I can retire this old ancient beast. This one's for my old desktop years ago I had. So oh, down there we have a portable hard drive with files on it. It's just mostly photos I keep on there, and then what the keyboard is. So it's not a fancy keyboard or anything, but it gets the job done. And yeah, you probably know about my microphone, which I use for stream, and hold my phone over there up. Not in use right now, but me. And by the way, yes, this does pop off. That is the clean. You can. It's a filter, so you can clean it, guys. This is to prevent animal hair from getting into your chassis and stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and hit that back on, and we're gonna pop this back on. By the way, the logo's down here if you're wondering. I see a lot of people with their reviews with this chassis, like just pull the whole main plastic here off. That seems like a bad idea to do. And if it comes off way too easily and you keep doing it, it'll just fall down, timber over. So remember, this steel thing does pop out. It's like a little round ball that holds it in. So speaking in here, we have the power which is connected to the motherboard, USB cords, and the it's one of them is the USB cords and everything, and then the fan plug is right underneath it. Yeah, the fan plug is right in there, but you can't probably see it well without me zooming in, but we do have one SATA port used. We have 3 more for hard drives, or like mechanical hard drives or SSD hard drives. So I have a laptop mechanical drive hooked up in the bottom of this panel down here. You can't see because it's on the other side, but yeah, there is one in there. What's this? I don't know, I guess it's just part of the thing, but yeah. Then we have the power supply right over here underneath that. By the way, you can hook the hard drives to the front over here because they have mounting holes here if you take it from the other side, but I don't plan to do that. But yeah, and then you got if it can focus, you got the GPU. The GPU only takes one power thing to plug in, so that's the PCI for it. Normally graphics take 2 or sometimes 3, depending. What graphics am I running is the RTX 3060 12GB VRAM. That's the one I'm running. I was going to do the 460 16GB one, but I had to settle with this one since it was on sale and I was on a budget build. And every time I asked for input, everyone kept going over the budget build with expensive parts. And yeah, most of these parts I picked based on how Jay 2 Cents went over his cheap builds. Even though he kind of dashed on the GPU, I kind of went full budget friendly, but still hit the markings and performance for the value. So I wouldn't be screwing myself. As for the water cooler, we got 2 RAMs Cursor memory in here. It is 16 gigabytes, 52 100 megahertz. If you don't enable the profile in there, it will down clock to 4800 megahertz. So you want to enable that to clock it up high. By the way, these memories are actually Intel X media profile, whatever. Don't know the actual term fully. But I know AMD has their own EXMPO, I think it is. Don't quote me on it. I'm just going roughly from the memory from what I saw. And because it's still a lot of stuff to learn over here, you know, compared to old desktops, because most older desktops didn't have stuff like this. And I didn't have anything like a gaming one back then. It was like an E machine. So that ancient little thing. But the processor is the AMD 7600X. It does have integrated graphics. Most people think the X means it doesn't, but it does. If it has no X, it means there's no integrated graphics in it. I got it, but the integrated graphics is turned off along with the bridge to it. That helps actually free up more DDR memory because it does take a bit of it. So we're at 16 gigs out of the 16. I do plan to upgrade the RAMs to 32 gigs later on. Probably a little faster speed, probably 560 hertz later on. Then again, I might just hit the 6,000 hertz. So for that. So we have the fan plug in there. That's why it's kind of like that, tied to that. We're not going to mess with the back fan. We'll just leave the back fan how it is once we add the two new fans. The motherboard is the Asus motherboard, tough gaming. It is the B650 Wi-Fi on it. It kind of says it right there. Yeah, Turf Gaming B650 plus Wi-Fi. That's the motherboard I picked. It was on sale for $200 along with the processor for $190 something for. So the rough estimate for my build here was about, we're going to say between 800 to 13 in between there, because I did pay for fast shipping to get it here quicker. Shipping was probably about 50 or 100 more bucks. So, and right down there, that first M slot right above the graphics card where I'm pointing at, that empty right there, it is PCI Gen Express 5, but I have a Gen 4 in there in using that. With the Cursor 1 terabyte Gen 4, which is 5,000 read. I think read and write at the same time, but don't quote me on that. I'm just going estimate based on what I saw. I'm gonna be honest, 1 terabyte for games is not enough, so that's why I have mechanical hard drives installed for Steam games. I'm planning on adding another terabyte, but not a 1 terabyte, but a 4 terabyte mechanical drive down below in the base here soon. And then have all the Steam games transfer there if they don't require the NVMe SSD. So, but for the most games that do require it, it will just run off that or the mechanical, move them back and forth. The plate, I don't want to touch the plate while it's on, but it is swappable. I have it going that way, and then the water hose orientation for the radiator is, it can go this way or it can go the other way. I went this way. The hose is hooked. Make sure the hose is not touching on the actual thing here, because if so, you will end up melting it. Oh, but then why didn't I just go the other way, right? So that's why I'm gonna have the fans here, help it cool off. Those are aluminums. That's helping dissipate heat. If GPU, like I said, has its own 2 fans. As you can see, the fans are not on. They're not moving even though I'm using it, because the GPU fans trigger only when it gets hot. So it's currently not hot right now. And then we have more PCI Express slots down there. If I use that one right there, it will disable the other M2 slot. And there's 2 more M2 slots down there. And so if I use the express one, it disables that slot. If I use that either of them, it disables the other. So if I use the one to the far left here, it will not disable it though. So I probably might put another NVMe SSD here again. Probably a 4 terabyte. But I'll probably do a swap around. Plug it and transfer the main boot drive onto it and then rotate them out, maybe. Or just put it in there down here. And then just keep all the stuff like that, games that require speeds to load quicker for improvement. The thermal paste was applied on the thing already. I just had to swap it and then the plates to hold it in for the AM5 bracket. So the AM5 bracket is installed, as you can see. The cords, wire management on the other side is kind of like, okay, could be better. Let me have down all the way there. It's the HD audio. Guys, when you plug that in, make sure it's plugged in correctly. I didn't have it plugged in when I went in there to reinstall a hard drive. I was like, wait, why is the audio not working? I was like, oh crap, it's not all the way plugged in. But we do have a couple other ones. We got 2 USB plugins if we wanted to add more fans or like RGBs. I don't really care about RGBs. They're not that fancy. I know. Why do you get the one with the water cooler with this? I got it because it was within my budget range of $100, and I was gonna get air cooler. Then I had to switch to water cooler because the seller wouldn't I don't know, had an issue with the payments, so I had to switch. But when you touch the tubes, you feel the flow of water going in and out. So yes, this sucker is being cooled. I can feel the water just from touching it. And if you're planning on doing your own custom build gaming desktop, I will advise stick to 2 sticks of RAM in dual channel mode. Avoid quad channel. Dual channel is the best approach and option to go with for that maximal performance. The most you can go up to, I think, is 96 gigs. Unless you go in the quad way, then you can go to the maximum of 190 something on your motherboard. This motherboard supports about the 190 amount. So yeah, pretty much 32. Then again, I can always bump it up to 64. But then again, I'm mostly just gaming and doing some creation stuff, so I think 32 should get me by, and almost anyone by. So, how does it well and fare on games? Well, it does really well. So, the games are running pretty cool and fast. So, I'll give you what's right here. So performance-wise, each of the cords are running really well. To be honest, I'm able to run Genshin, Grand Theft Auto, Final Fantasy VII Remake at maximum settings. Of course, if I'm streaming, though, I have to turn down Grand Theft Auto 5 settings down a bit, because if not, the GPU is being overtaken. So I guess you can say my GPU is slightly a bottleneck. But if I turn down Grand Theft Auto from very high to high, I can still stream and not experience any lag. Because if I'm running the model OBS and all that on here, I have to turn down the settings for the Grand Theft Auto or any other game that are pushing too much resources in the GPU section. And yeah, we can see here the GPU temp is 51. We're only using about this much because we're using OBS right now. OBS is going about 25, 30, 40, and then video encoding and stuff. So yeah, we are plugged in through Ethernet. We have the USB drive, this too. this 1, this 0. This is the main boot drive. Let's see, RAM. Or if you don't turn the profile on, you'll be at 48. I'm at 52, which is the max default speed. 2 out of 4 slots used. Hardware reserve. If you don't turn off the integrated graphics in the bridge, it will take more system RAM. As you can see here, it is 15.16 gigabytes out of 16. So make sure to, do that. Startup times, the last BIOS time is like 24, but sometimes it's 10, 12. It all depends on what you have here. So yeah, we have a couple different things that are disabled though. We got like 1, 2 things enabled: the G Hub and the HD audio service for the headphones. But yeah. Let's see, what else can I go over? Minus this. Yeah. Go ahead and minus. And yeah, actually we don't need to control that. So let's throw on. Oh, here. Cool. Go ahead and throw in. Okay, let's do Cyber Dimension. So it's going to start Cyber Dimension up. Cyber Dimension. Oh, and warning, guys, for those who have not played Cyber Dimension, here's a little heads up. Cyber Dimension needs to be on a mechanical drive when you first start it up. If you try to start up on an SSD, it's not going to run or take for some reason. This varies per SSD. Since I am using Carousel for the SSD, yeah, I don't remember having this problem with the laptop SSD doing it. It opened up fine. Maybe because it was Gen 3. Maybe because Gen 4 speeds are not compatible with the game. So you definitely want to consider doing that. And let me try again. It should open up here in a second. Okay, there it goes. It's opening up. So yes, the SSD speeds does make a difference. When I had it on mechanical last time, it took forever to open up. But once you have it open up in the mechanical, you can transfer it back from the mechanical to the SSD, and you'll be in there much quicker. By the way, this monitor supports a maximum of 75 hertz by default. So it's pretty fast, but not as fast. That's why I'm going to switch to ASUS monitor for 180 hertz, or I think it's 170 hertz. For more performance and also, greater display, less with HDR. Some of my games are HDR, so I want to get a monitor that has at least a decent amount of HDR. It doesn't have to be the best HDR. Good enough. So yeah, the game does run at full maximum settings. So looks like we have a PD2 update. Though for Nier Automata, it does still take up a lot of GPU. I'm not sure because Nier Automata is not fully optimized GPU related. As a lot of people said, it's very demanding, but it shouldn't really be demanding, especially when you look at the recommendations. So let's go down here to recommendations. So recommended is a GTX 980 and 4 gigabytes or that. And I'm running what? RTX 3060. So yes, I noticed it's quite demanding. Even so, if I do stream near hit this Nier Automata, I probably will have to turn down settings. I notice because it does disconnect my iPhone from controlling my model, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, it's kind of weird. You would think it'd be able to run this between minimum and high, but probably if I turn it down to about medium settings, should have no issues. So the CPU is able to tackle it really well, though. I don't think I have another high demand. Would Star Ocean, because it's technically actually. I love how it asked for all this. So Star Ocean is about GTX 960, right? So yeah, I guess it's not a good example. Okay, this one either, but let's see here. Oh, Guilty Gear Strive, that's a good one. It should be about. Well, no, it's not that demanding, but yes, most games are demanding. Some aren't. Oh, actually, I have the Final Fantasy demo here somewhere. Okay, there's an update for that, but yeah, they recommend like this, like what RTX 2080. I'm able to run it fine. There are moments it does freeze up, which is kind of annoying and off-putting. So we'll go ahead and use this demo, and you will kind of see what I'm referring to. So let me actually. Let me go ahead and plug in my cord for the controller. And you will see what I'm meaning here. Okay, we have to wait for the patch, but we'll resume once it's done. So until then, hold on for the time being. Now, I'm resuming recording here really quick. This should also go with this. If you have version 560.94, right? Let's go back over here. So if your graphic card updates to play Final Fantasy 16 on PC, these are the AMD graphics required, the Intel graphics, and the NVIDIA. Since we're in NVIDIA here, we have the required. But there is another new update though. And 56109 is to, I guess, address more issues and patches. But I'm not gonna be testing that. Like, you can easily figure it out yourself if you need this one or not. Normally I don't update too quickly unless the patches notes give a lot of information of whether or not if the update's really going to do much good. So still one open. We see a lot of people having issues here. So 15 frames with the latest driver on RTX 15 frames with the latest. Wow, that's pretty bad. It was from August 22 or September. It's used but only 50% degrees on it. Wow. So yes, if you guys turn down the settings, it should help a bit. But if you're streaming and model, your VTube model at the same time, you might want to turn down the settings a bit. Unless you have like maybe a 460 Ti or better. A 460 or higher should be better on doing all that. But if you're on like what I am on 3060, then actually maybe the 3060 Ti might have actually been slightly better. Yes, it's a little less on VRAM, 8 gigs, but it should be able to handle pretty much everything on top of streaming, maybe. But yeah, the patch is almost done, and we'll resume once it's done. So we're gonna go ahead and resume real quick, and we're gonna go ahead and play the demo after downloading that patch update. It probably addressed and fixed a few of the bugs, but we'll see. I just remember the sucker is streaming not on here, but on my actual TV. But we can go ahead and minus this and voila. So the fans are already kept on. We have the GPU temps right here and how much. So now I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this over to the actual TV. Probably won't see it from my angle, but it looks like they changed a few things. I don't remember some of these system settings before. We want story focus, we'll go action focus this time.
Was is blessed in the light of the crystals. And it was this light which finally our affairs out of the darkness. Yet what they saw in the light gave rise to temptation. Temptation that ever lures us back into the crystal shadow. And thus did our journey begin.
So yeah, you'll probably see some glitchical graphical moments, so pay it on mind. It'll probably lag at some points during this opening cutscene. There you go. We're experiencing a little bit of lag there. Until the patches try to fix those problems. And our CPU is about 71%, and our GPU is about 80%, 90%. So it is working as hard as it can work. And then there we go, some of that lag. We're getting 100% CPU on that. Then it's going down. So, looks like between the CPU and GPU, it needs still a little bit more attunement. Because the CPU is way above I recommend it specs, so it should be able to handle it, the workload perfectly fine. Plus, the CPU temperatures are really, really good. We are only about 61 for the CPU package, about 60 for the CPU, which is really good for the water cooler doing its job. The max we hit on the package was 81 and 84 for the CPU cord, which is the CCD hashtag 0, which is the chiplet design because of this like design.
Soon. Both camps have been understood.
And then the core max was 76.3 Celsius. So
You all know the target. Shiva's dominant. And only the dominant. No one else.
but yeah, we'll go ahead and skip. We're not gonna show this whole
Yes,
thing.
sir.
From here, we're pretty much done. But as you saw, I'll rotate and go back here. As you guys can see, oh, actually, not our package, but our power max, it kind of went up. Not a much, it went down to 60. It all depends on the scenes, but yeah, our graphical temp packages is 81.3 Celsius. The CCD is 84.4 Celsius, and the core max 76.3 Celsius. That's just related to all the cords. So this is like the whole thing, the whole package related. And then the main actual package, but the chiplet design, because I believe the Zen's supposed to be made up of 2 chiplet designs. So it does run well. I saw some CPU spikes to 100, which is where it lagged. Our CPU is way above their recommendation, as you can see, is an AMD Radeon 5 7600X 6-core processor. It does have enough L1 and 2 and 3 cache. Then again, a lot of people does perform our cache. There are better options on cache, but overall, it's able to handle this game well, minus those few tweaks that need to be tuned for the system specs. But overall, it is an impressive, hardware. Overall, I enjoy it. I love it. I will add more RAM. The GPU, I will still keep using it to play other games. Will I ever upgrade the GPU from a 3060 to 4060 Ti? If there is a sell, like Micro Center sell or Amazon sell or something, I will definitely nab on that sell if it's a good, decent sell and worth it. So, and also for those who are interested and you want to purchase my old gaming laptop that really can't really do much, the condition is fair. I am selling it, so I'll put the link in the description if you want to purchase it. So I would appreciate anyone who could purchase it, and then that will go towards more either system RAM or adding more stuff to this desktop, and also getting between memory or whatever I would do with it. But yeah, that will go towards any extra upgrades or add-ons to this desktop build I'm doing. And if you're curious about the chassis, I already said it's Carousel. Power supply is Carousel 1000 watt power supply. That's pretty much it. There's no more than that. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Will I be streaming later? I don't know. Keep an eye out. So until then, I'll see you guys.